You ever drive through Kansas at 2 in the morning? Long stretches of nothing. Just black road, cornfields, and static on the radio. That's where I was, hauling a refrigerated trailer eastbound on I-70, dead tired but determined to make it to St. Louis before sunup. Name's Jack Talbot, 42, been on the road more than half my life. I don't scare easy. I've seen some weird crap, fog that moves against the wind, animals standing still on the road like statues, a guy once walking barefoot down the shoulder in a blizzard wearing nothing but a t-shirt and boxer shorts. But nothing like what I'm about to tell you. I was about 15 miles past Salina when I saw it. A green road sign flicked into view in my headlights, no lights around, no nearby towns, no gas stations. Just a rusted-out sign that read, Exit 203, Service Road, except, there is no Exit 203 on that stretch. I've driven it dozens of times. Hell, I've got the whole route memorized. But this one, it looked old, sun-faded, almost forgotten by time. Curiosity got the best of me. I figured maybe it was an old maintenance route or a rest stop that didn't make it on the GPS. So I took it. As soon as my rig left the main road, my headlights dimmed, just for a second, like a blink. The pavement under my tires turned cracked, uneven. Trees pressed in on both sides. No shoulders, no lights. Just this narrow, two-lane road that felt like it hadn't been touched since the 50s. About a mile in, my CB radio crackled, even though I hadn't heard a peep on it all night. A voice came through, low and wet, like someone whispering underwater, "You shouldn't have come here." I slammed the brakes. Hard. Looked around. Nothing. My CB was off. It was off. My palms started sweating. I told myself it was just fatigue. Maybe I dozed off, hallucinated it. Happens to guys on the long haul. But then I saw movement up ahead. Something darted across the road. Low to the ground, fast. Didn't look like an animal. I rolled forward, slow now, and then, bam, the whole rig went dead. Lights. Engine. Dashboard. Dead. I was stuck in the middle of a goddamn nowhere road with a 40-ton corpse of a truck, in total darkness. I reached for my flashlight, cracked open the door, and the first thing I noticed was the silence. No insects. No wind. Just, still. And then I heard it. A tap. Coming from the trailer. The tap came again. Sharp. Precise. Right at the back of the trailer. Like someone knocking. Not banging. Not random thumps like something loose shifting around. This was deliberate. Tap, tap, tap. I stood there in the dark, flashlight in one hand, the other resting on my belt where I keep my folding knife, not that it helped much against anything serious. I was frozen, listening. I told myself it had to be ice shifting in the reefer. Happens all the time. But the tapping stopped. And then, footsteps. I swear to God, slow, deliberate footsteps walking along the length of the trailer, right on the driver's side. Gravel crunching. One, after, another. I swung the flashlight over there. Nothing. Just my own rig, towering above me in the dark. No prints. No movement. But I heard it. I backed toward the cab, heart thumping like a jackhammer, trying to decide whether to get back inside and lock the doors or check the rear. My instincts, the ones you build after 20 years on the road, they screamed, "Don't open that damn trailer." But then I heard it. A voice. From inside the trailer. A man's voice, low and calm, "It's hot in here. Can you open up?" That reefer was loaded with frozen meat, solid ice, temperature set at -10 degrees. There shouldn't have been anyone in there. I don't even remember pulling the lock bar down. Just found myself walking toward the back like I wasn't in control of my own legs. One foot after the other, boots scuffing over the cracked asphalt. The handle was ice cold. So cold it burned. I hesitated, heart pounding in my throat. Then the voice came again, this time, right on the other side of the doors, "Please, open up. I'm not supposed to be here." The flashlight flickered. Just for a second. And then everything went dead quiet again. I backed off. Fast. Whatever was in there, if anything, it wasn't human. Not anymore. I climbed back into the cab, locked the doors, tried the ignition. Nothing. Dead. And then, in the passenger mirror, I saw something that made my blood turn to ice. A man. Standing behind the trailer. Not moving. Not walking. Just staring directly into the mirror. Only, he didn't have a face. At first, I thought maybe the mirror was fogged, distorted. You get weird reflections at night. But no, the figure was there. Clear as day in the moonlight. About 6 feet tall. Wearing something like an old work shirt, sleeves torn off, pants shredded at the knees. But where his face should have been, it was just skin. No eyes. No mouth. Just a smooth, stretched over mask of flesh. Like someone had pulled a rubber sheet tight over a skull. He didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just stood there, head tilted slightly, as if listening. I reached over and slammed the window shut, locked it, heart about ready to blow out of my chest. Grabbed the radio, nothing but static. My phone. No signal. Figures. I sat in that cab, hand on the key, hoping for a miracle. And then, the trailer doors creaked open. Slow. Long groaning metal. I hadn't touched them. I hadn't unlocked them. But they opened anyway, like something inside had decided it was done waiting. I turned, real slow, and looked out the rear window of the cab. Pitch black. But I heard something stepping onto the catwalk between the cab and the trailer. Heavy steps. Like whatever it was had weight. It wasn't crawling or slithering. It walked. And it knew where it was going. I didn't breathe. Not a sound. I watched the side mirror, waiting for it to pass into view. Then, knock knock knock, right on the sleeper door. Not the main cab door. The one behind me. The one that leads into the little sleeper compartment where I keep my gear, my cot, my life on the road. I turned around slowly. And the damn handle was turning. From the inside. That was it. I lost it. I grabbed my tire iron, kicked the door open, and dropped down to the pavement. Didn't care if it was human, animal, or demon, I wasn't staying inside. But when I turned to face the trailer again. The man with no face. He was gone. So were the trailer doors. Closed tight. Locked. Just like I'd left them. No footprints. No sign anyone, or anything, had been there at all. Until I looked at the side of the trailer, where someone had carved words into the aluminum with something sharp. Deep, jagged scratches. You brought it with you. I stood there, staring at those words. You brought it with you. The message was carved low, like it had been scratched by something crouching, or on all fours. I ran my fingers over the grooves. They were deep. Not like some punk with a knife. More like claws. Heavy ones. I don't know how long I stood there, just, paralyzed. Then I heard the engine. My rig's engine. It started. On its own. Lights came back on. Dashboard lit up like Christmas. But I hadn't touched the keys. I should have walked away right then. Left the truck. Called in a tow, made up some story about engine failure, whatever. But I didn't. I climbed back inside. Because that's what truckers do, we keep moving. I turned the wheel back toward the highway, ready to get the hell out of there. The road seemed longer now. The trees closer. Like the forest had leaned in while I was gone. But here's the part that still messes with me. When I got back to the main road, there was no exit. No sign. No ramp. Just solid concrete barrier where I'd come off. I slowed down, mouth dry, staring at it in disbelief. Like the road had never existed. Like I'd dreamed the whole thing. And then I felt it again. That presence. You ever feel someone behind you when you're alone in a room? Not hear them. Just feel them. Like pressure in the air. My neck tingled. The cab felt too full. I looked in the rear view. Nothing. But when I checked the passenger seat, there was a wet handprint. Just one. Right on the seat. Fresh. Human-sized. I didn't stop again until daylight. I don't even remember the rest of the drive. Like I blacked out and the road just vanished beneath me. I pulled into a truck stop outside Columbia, Missouri, shaking like I'd done a month straight of crank. Parked. Got out. Breathed. I figured it was over. But that night, in the sleeper, as I finally started drifting off, I heard it again. Tap, tap, tap. Not on the trailer. Not on the window. But inside the cab. From the tiny crawlspace under the bed. I froze. Lying there in my cot, sweat cold on my skin, listening to that sound. Tap, tap, tap. Coming from underneath me. There's a small hatch under the sleeper bed in my rig. Most trucks have one, access to wiring, a little storage. Nothing you'd ever expect to make noise, or hold anything alive. But this tapping? It wasn't random. It had rhythm. Like someone trying to get my attention. Like they knew I was awake. I lay there in total darkness, holding my breath, eyes wide open, staring up at the ceiling just inches above my face. Then, the tapping stopped. Silence. Followed by 3 slow knocks against the plywood under the mattress. Thump. 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 I reached down with shaking hands, pulled out my flashlight, and sat up, real careful. The cot creaked. Whatever was beneath me, it heard it. I could feel movement. Shifting. Like something adjusting itself to stay hidden. I should have left. Got out of the cab. But I had to see it. I don't know why, maybe I was tired of being scared, or maybe some deep part of me thought I was going insane and needed proof. So I knelt down and opened the hatch. Shined the flashlight inside. At first, nothing. Just the tangle of wires, a rolled-up roadside blanket, some old receipts. I leaned closer, squinting. And then I saw eyes. Way too far back. Deeper than the compartment should have gone. Glinting like oil slicks in the beam of the flashlight. Watching me. They blinked, but not together. One blinked a half second before the other, like the timing was wrong. Not human. And then it smiled. I didn't see teeth, just a shift in the flesh, like a slit opening sideways in the darkness. A voice came from inside, dry and echoing, like it came from a long tunnel. We've got a long drive ahead. I slammed the hatch shut, locked it, and practically dove out of the cab. Stumbled across the truck stop parking lot like a drunk, breathing so hard I thought I'd pass out. I stayed the night in the diner. Just sat in a booth. Nurses, rig jockeys, security guys came and went, but I didn't move. Didn't sleep. Didn't go near that truck again until the sun was high and burning. When I finally got back in the cab the next morning, the hatch was still locked. But there was something new on the inside of my windshield. Written in reverse, like someone had traced it from the inside out, using a finger. No stops left. I should have walked away. Left the rig. Caught a Greyhound. Started a new life flipping pancakes in Idaho or something. But no, I climbed back in that cursed truck, because that's what I do. I drive. I told myself it was just stress. Sleep deprivation. Shadows in the dark playing tricks on a fried brain. But deep down, I knew better. This thing, whatever it was, it had hitched a ride. And it wasn't going anywhere. For the next few days, everything felt off. The GPS glitched constantly. Routes I'd driven 100 times were suddenly wrong. Roads I knew existed just weren't there anymore. I'd take a turn that should have led to a rest stop and wind up on some narrow, fog-choked path with no exits and no signs. Time got slippery. I'd blink and 6 hours would vanish. My logbook was a mess. Fuel didn't go down. Neither did food in the cooler, even when I didn't eat for a day. And at night, the tapping came back. Always from different places. The sleeper. The trailer. Once, right inside the glove box. And the worst part? It always came at the exact same time, 3:17 a.m. No matter what time zone I was in. Then one night, somewhere along the Colorado border, I heard something new. A radio transmission. The CB came alive on its own. Just static at first, then a voice. Male. Familiar. My own voice. Jack. You're not on the map anymore. I yanked the plug on the radio, heart pounding like a war drum. Then the headlights cut out. The engine died. Again. I coasted to a stop on a dirt road that wasn't supposed to exist. I opened the door and stepped out into fog. Thick. Wet. Silent. And then, just barely audible from behind the trailer, came laughter. Childlike. High-pitched. Mocking. I didn't run this time. I walked slowly to the back of the rig, crowbar in hand, knowing full well I wasn't going to find anything that made sense. And I didn't. The trailer doors were open. Just like before. But inside? No meat. No crates. Just a 2-lane highway. Perfect. Fresh blacktop. Painted lines. Stretching off into the dark, like it had been paved right inside the trailer and kept going forever. I stepped back. Shut the doors. Didn't look again. That was 2 years ago. I still drive. Still haul. But my routes? They're not on any map anymore. I get deliveries from companies that don't exist. The names on the bills of lading change when I'm not looking. And every night, at 3:17 a.m., the tapping starts again. I don't ask where I'm going. I don't stop. Because I know now, the road took me. And it's not done yet. About 3 months ago, something changed. Up until then, the routine was hell, but predictable. Roads that didn't exist. Tapping at 3:17. That feeling of not being alone in my cab. But I kept moving. That's the trick, never stop. Then I got a dispatch, handwritten, slid under my cab door while I slept at a way station in Utah. Just one line, deliver to mile marker 0. No route. No address. No company name. Just that. I asked around on the CB, no one answered. Even truckers I knew were nearby. It was like I'd gone silent on the airwaves. Like my rig had become a ghost. But here's the part that still gives me cold sweats, when I checked the trailer. It was already loaded. I didn't see anyone do it. Didn't hear it. But it was full, sealed crates, no markings, wrapped tight in chains. No bill of lading. No weight slips. Nothing. I should have left. I should have burned that truck to the ground. But instead, I drove. And the GPS? It started working again, only it didn't show roads. Just a black screen with a single pulsing dot, dragging me forward into nowhere. I followed it for what felt like days. No towns. No lights. No other vehicles. Not even stars above me, just that crushing black sky, and the endless road beneath my tires. Then I saw it. Mile marker 0. But it wasn't a sign. Not really. It was a man. Standing on the side of the road. Wearing a state trooper's uniform, but old. Like 1970s old. Hat low, badge tarnished, skin like wax. And his eyes? They were solid black. Like ink. Like night poured into 2 sockets and sealed over. He didn't move. Didn't wave me down. Just watched as I slowed to a stop in front of him. I rolled the window down, only a crack. "Delivery for mile marker 0, I said. He didn't speak. Just nodded toward the trailer. Once. So I climbed down, walked back, and opened it. Inside? Nothing. The crates were gone. All of them. The trailer was empty, like they'd never been there. I turned back to the trooper. He was gone. But in his place, was a mirror. A full-length, freestanding mirror in the middle of the damn road. And when I looked into it, I saw my truck. Burning. And me, still inside it. Screaming. I stumbled back from the mirror, breath caught in my throat. I didn't scream, couldn't. My voice just, wouldn't work. Like the reflection had reached into me and cut the cord. My truck, in flames. Me, watching myself burn. But I was still standing there. Alive. Freezing. Alone in the dark. And the road? It had gone quiet. No tapping. No whispers. Not even the hum of the engine. I turned back, and my truck was gone. Not just turned off. Not parked. Gone. Vanished like it had never been there. Just the mirror. Just the black road. Just me. I walked for what felt like hours. Shoes grinding against gravel. Fog creeping low, clinging to my legs like it was trying to pull me under. And just when I thought maybe this was it, this was hell, or purgatory, or whatever in-between place they send truckers too stubborn to die, I saw lights. Headlights. Big ones. Coming toward me down the center of the empty highway. A rig. Same model as mine. Same color. Same everything. It slowed. Brakes hissing. The door opened. And inside, sitting behind the wheel, was me. Same hat. Same jacket. Same scar above the brow. Only his eyes, my eyes, were glazed. Empty. Like no one was home. He leaned over, nodded toward the passenger seat. No words. I got in. I don't know why. I just, did. The door slammed shut. The engine growled. And we drove. Through darkness. Through time. Through places I swear don't exist. And now. Now I drive. Still. I'm behind the wheel of a truck that never needs fuel, never breaks down, never stops. I haul things no one orders to places no one lives. Sometimes I hear my name on the CB. Sometimes I see other rigs, faceless drivers in cabs covered in rust and ice. Sometimes I see you. Out there on the shoulder. Thumbing a ride. Looking lost. So if you're ever on an empty stretch of road at night, and you see a long-haul rig with no plates and a trailer that hums like it's alive inside, don't flag it down. Don't wave. Don't look in the mirror. Because if you do, you might find yourself in the passenger seat. Just like me. Deadheading forever. I don't know how long I've been driving. Time doesn't pass out here the way it's supposed to. There's no sunrise. No towns. Just asphalt that never ends and a sky that never changes. No signal. No noise. No life. But then, one day, something changed. I saw a sign. A real one. Wooden. Splintered. Barely holding together. It said, "Way station, 1 mile ahead." Never heard of it. Never seen it on any route. But something in me shifted. Like my bones remembered something my brain had forgotten. I took the exit. A gravel road, winding through blackened trees. Like they'd been burned, then kept burning, ash and bark fused together. The headlights flickered, just once. And then I saw it. A gas station. Old. Abandoned. But the lights inside were on. I parked. Engine idled steady. Trailer silent for the first time in what felt like years. Inside the station was a man behind the counter. Mid-60s. Thick glasses. Wearing a trucker cap that just said, "Gone." He looked up at me like he'd been expecting me since before I was born. "You're early," he said. "They usually don't finish the haul till the wheels come off." I didn't speak. Didn't need to. He slid a small, leather-bound logbook across the counter. "One last signature," he said. "That'll do it." I looked at the page. My name was already written. And beneath it, 2 words, "Final delivery." My hand moved on its own. Pen scratched the paper. The moment the ink dried, I heard it. Not tapping. Not whispers. Silence. Real silence. Like the world had taken a breath and finally held it. Outside, my rig was gone. In its place, a long black hearse. Back hatch open. Waiting. I didn't fight it. Didn't run. I climbed in and lay down on the cold velvet lining, hands folded like I'd seen in 1,000 funeral homes. The hatch shut behind me. And for the first time in years, I slept. They found my truck 6 months later. Empty. Keys still in the ignition. Engine cold. Trailer locked, nothing inside but a single pair of worn-out boots and a hand-scrawled note on the wall in faded ink, "Made the last stop. Keep the wheels turning." That's the end of Jack Talbot's haul. Real miles. Real fear. Real quiet in the dark. If you're ever out on the road alone at night and your radio crackles at 3:17 a.m., just keep driving. Don't answer. Because some deliveries should never be made. And some roads? They don't take you anywhere you can come back from.